strong gusty winds in the eastern U.S. remain all the way down to North Florida. I even felt it here, and we've got wind advisories up in some areas in the east. Nice dry spring weather if you want to go up into the plains or in the northern Rockies or anywhere in the west. However, in the northern Rockies, it's going to probably be a late season snowstorm. And some bouts of severe weather coming for the middle part of the country as we head toward the Easter holiday weekend. So we will talk about all of this and the usual so much more tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. And if you'd like to support the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast, you can do it where it doesn't cost you a dime out of your own pocket. All you got to do is use our Amazon referral link at the top of the chat board or on the description to this podcast. Do your shopping, and Amazon will throw us back a little bit of coin. And again, doesn't cost you a dime. We appreciate very much those of you who have used our referral link on Amazon. Although I did discover today, Joe, I have no idea how this happened, but you have Alexa, right?
Yes.
Okay, and I have Alexa, and I'm spelling it because if I say it, it's going to respond. So I went into my Amazon Prime, I was just looking at my credit card, just looking at charges, and I found out I was getting charged $15 a month. I've only had it for the last 3 months, but I was being charged $15 a month for an Alexa skill, which is apparently an option that's on there. And this particular skill was like a gaming app of some kind. Now I don't game, so I don't do that. So I had to call up the credit card company. Anyway, it all got taken care of, but uh, I'm just surprised because nobody else has access to my card and nobody but me in my house. So I don't know how it happened. But anyway, just a heads up if you have Alexa, and I get Amazon Music, so that's like $6 a month, which is what I expected to find. But when I found this other charge, so if you have Alexa, you might want to check your credit card if you've got, just in case. Just a little warning out there. So anyway, I woke up this morning. It was blowing away here. It was like 20 to 30, and all the big trees were swaying back and forth. It was right after the front went by, and it was actually a pretty windy day here. Uh, and in the meantime, SPC had to play catch up today and stretch out this marginal risk for severe weather that they didn't have yesterday, and then they put it up overnight and this morning for a small area in northeast PA, and they made it bigger. And apparently, there were some rather strong thunderstorms that moved through parts of Pennsylvania, but they have since weakened, and not much of it has survived. My last check on the radar.
Well, here we did have wind, but it really didn't start revving up or cranking up until this afternoon. Also, we had kind of a checkerboard sky, if you will, a changeable sky locally, where there were times when it was beautiful, blue sky, bright sunshine, lovely conditions, and then just as quickly it clouded over. We had a couple of spritzes, but I know that not too far to the south of me and to the north, there were some heavier showers, downpours, and even some rumbles of thunder. And in fact, I noticed on SPC earlier today, Joe, that they were talking not enough to put up a watch. There was only a 5% chance of that. But they did have on one of their mesoscale discussions a broad area in northern Pennsylvania and central New York where there was a chance for some low top convection and possibly thunderstorms that could approach or exceed severe limits with hail possibly as much as 1.25 inches wide. So they were out there, they being the threat of showers and locally hefty activity. But again, checkerboard, few and far between.
Yeah.
Most areas didn't really see much of anything. Skies are now, for the most part, clear now, but they're going to cloud over overnight tonight and tomorrow. it's going to be a different story. Whereas today was a lovely day, a relatively mild day, even though we did have the gusty winds. Tomorrow, we're going to still have those gusty winds, but it's going to be much colder, and it's going to feel in the afternoon like it's only near 40, even though the actual temperatures will be close to the 50s. So, uh, what can I say? Changeable indeed.
Yeah, and the rain held on this morning along the coastal areas because the front slowed down. Was being polite. It was waiting for the upper trough. I didn't see anything that changed my mind in terms of how this is all going to progress for the rest of the week and into the weekend for eastern Pennsylvania to southern New England. Um, temperatures will start to bounce up a little bit on Thursday. Thursday and Friday look like two decent days. Saturday looks like it's going to be very warm, and that's when we may get a front to come through with some showers and thunderstorms. And I wouldn't be surprised if we wind up with a little severe weather risk out of it. And then Sunday, Easter Sunday, looks like a nice day. It'll be cooler than Saturday, but it won't be like tomorrow. It'll probably be in the 60s, and it should be a partly to mostly sunny Easter Sunday, I think.
I would agree. I would agree that it looks like a good day on Sunday. And it's a funny thing. Saturday there'll be scattered showers around, maybe even a thunderstorm as the front moves in. But temperatures on Saturday are going to be well up into the 70s in many areas. And you say to yourself,
I
boy, it's
think there
going to
could
be
be some 80s.
yeah, well, yeah, I would not doubt it. But unfortunately, with the front sweeping on through, it's going to sweep out all that nice mild air, and so it's going to be cooler. Not cold, but noticeably cooler when we get to Sunday. And at least we'll still have sunshine to enjoy, as opposed to Saturday, where it's a give and take. You'll give the mild temperatures a go, but you'll have to take or put up with the chance for some wetness in the form of scattered showers.
Welcome tonight to everybody on the chat board and those of you lurking in the background on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. You can do that Sunday through Thursday at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time. We did a late start today. We'll be back at our normal start time tomorrow, 7:35. We will be off Sunday, so there's no show on Easter Sunday. So after Thursday, we will be back Monday. So just a heads up there. Subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss us. Turn your notifications on, and if you like the show, hit the like button. So I guess they bit the bullet. I kind of thought that they probably wouldn't put up the wind advisory, and only because it was just maybe just shy of criteria. But judging how my winds were today, I guess I shouldn't be surprised because it was windy here. Although it was a beautiful sunny day all day here in North Georgia, with temperatures in the low to mid 60s. But we do have wind advisories up for a good chunk of Pennsylvania, all of New Jersey, Long Island. So that includes New York City. I don't think they have it up for you though. But look, the bottom line is we're talking 20 to 30, gusts to 40. So if you've got a wind advisory, okay. And if you don't have a wind advisory, your winds are going to be about the same. And we've got advisories down the Appalachian Mountain chain. We have advisories for the interior of South Carolina. Meanwhile, in the west, in Wyoming, the first winter storm watches are up there and into parts of southern Montana. We're likely to see more of these go up over time. Advisories up in northwestern Montana because they're going to get a nice little April snowfall in the coming days. And as we check out the satellite loop tonight, yeah, you've cleared out nicely. Although there are some clouds out to the west, you got to get this upper trough to get out of the way, and there's quite a bit of cloud cover through western New York and Pennsylvania down into West Virginia and Ohio. So that's yet to play through, I think, and that'll probably be start coming in overnight and maybe be around for at least part of tomorrow.
By the way, Carlberg says technically there's also Easter Monday, but that's strictly for the Easter egg roll at the White House. So,
Right. And
maybe,
The European stock markets are closed. They're
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, markets are closed Friday worldwide, and then Monday in Europe, and I guess in parts of Asia too. So there you have it. In case you needed to know these things. Beautiful clear skies in the plains. Beautiful clear skies across much of the South. little bit of high cloudiness that moved through South Georgia and North Florida with the front. And there's a little bit of moisture coming into California, but nothing to write home about, and extending up into the western part of the United States. But overall, just got to get rid of all of this, and the weather should be pretty good. On the radars tonight, still raining in southeastern New England. Taking all day for this front to move far enough offshore, and you can see the instability being caused by the upper trough with a lot of these patches of rain and maybe even some snow mixed in a few places, particularly when you go on the Canada side. Uh, Sort of the last vestiges of winter, and we've got some speckles of showers and of rain and snow in parts of Colorado, Utah, Nevada, and into Northern California. Now, the Storm Prediction Center still has this marginal risk in eastern Pennsylvania to central New England, but I think most of that has really played through now. So I wouldn't expect to see anything more going forward. Tomorrow, they have added a marginal risk for southeast Nebraska, East Kansas, and a portion of western Oklahoma. Day three, and this is Thursday into Friday, we have SPC now indicating a slight risk, eastern Nebraska, Iowa, and northern Missouri, with marginal risk surrounding that, reaching up into Wisconsin and Minnesota. And we have 3 days, I believe, in the long range, that SPCs is highlighted. So yesterday's day 5 is now day 4. That's Friday into Saturday. From north central Texas northeastward through the middle Mississippi Valley and into southern Arkansas. And it's also going to come with perhaps in some areas, a substantial amount of rain, and it may flood some areas that just got flooded a couple of weeks ago. Day 5, the fickle finger of fate with the severe thunderstorm potential of implied slight risk from central Texas northeast across Arkansas into Kentucky and northwest Tennessee. And on day 6, they have implied slight risk for East Texas, northwest Louisiana, southeast Oklahoma, Arkansas, western Tennessee, westernmost Kentucky, southernmost Illinois, and southern Missouri. And you know what? When SPC puts it in the long range, we all know what that means.
Pretty much that they have confidence that it is going to not only occur, but probably as we build toward that time frame, you're going to see increased confidence in not just putting slight risk, but maybe even enhanced risk. Who knows? Maybe even moderate risk, depending upon just how confident they are. But one thing that we do know, Joe, is that most definitely there is going to be an area of severe weather in the places that are blocked out beyond day 3.
Oh, absolutely. Wouldn't doubt it. And here's a WPC, which over the next 7 days, this is through next Tuesday, we're seeing a tenth of an inch or less from eastern New England down the coast. You got a few areas inland that have about a tenth of an inch, and down all the way to Florida, which has almost no precip at all. And then you see that area that I mentioned with respect to where the severe weather is being outlined. We're also seeing WPC showing 3 to as much as 5 inches of rain from Oklahoma into Missouri and northwestern Arkansas, and some of that heavier rain, but less, 1.5 to 2.5 inches, extending into Illinois and Indiana, and also in up the Rockies, in Montana and southern Montana into Wyoming. You're looking at 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch of melted, which, by the way, extends all the way down through much of Colorado except the east and back over into Utah. So this is going to be an interesting April storm. Doesn't look like a huge storm, but it is going to do what it's going to do. And as we let's check out what the Europeans up to today. And of course, we've got our system in eastern Canada. You can see the tight gradient with all those isobars over the northeast into the mid-Atlantic states and even into the southeast. That continues tomorrow. Some lake effect snow showers overnight into tomorrow morning in upstate New York and in northern New England. Then it pulls out. That still might be breezy a bit on Thursday. But if you go south and west, though, the high is settled over Virginia. It really doesn't look all that, further south, there's not going to be much wind, but there might still be some gusty breezes on Thursday. And then what happens is if the high goes offshore, we got a warm front that's going to go by well to our north, and you'll see the showers that go through the Great Lakes and into upstate New York on Friday. And then it's a west southwest wind, no sea breeze. I think we really should warm up nicely in much of the northeast, except maybe far northern New England, and point south and into the southeast and back across the Gulf states. Going to see a lot of 80s this coming Saturday.
And because of the fact that WPC has, as you pointed out in those maps a few minutes ago, the most rain, the 3 to 5 inch, the deep shades of red over the middle of the nation, what we saw from SPC was that that zone, basically, all of the extended forecasts for severe weather, day 4, day 5, day 6, overlap over that same region. So that's a good reason for anticipating a lot of convection, a lot of heavy rain, downpours, and the like for again that particular region. That's almost like the the grommet, so to speak, where everything is whirling around, and the grommet is where the wheel, the spinning wheel, happens to be attached. That's where the epicenter is, so to speak, of all of the nasty weather for the coming days ahead. Places like southern Illinois, Missouri, northern Arkansas. My God, those areas have gotten clobbered already from a week or two ago, and now, sadly, here they go again.
Yeah, that upper flow uh, is a little different than the last time because it doesn't last as long, but it's the same idea. The trough in the east pulls out, ridge pops up from the western Gulf to the Great Lakes, and a deep trough drops down into the west. You can see there's an upper low in Idaho that moves down and opens up into Utah, recuts off over Wyoming on Friday. And of course, ahead of it, you've got this uh, southwest flow again that's coming out of the subtropical Pacific and going right up into the Mississippi River Valley. Again, the difference this time around is that trough is not going to, the last time it took 4 days for it to get out of the way. This one is going to get out of the way a bit faster, but it still hangs around. I mean, we're talking Friday, Saturday. You see the southwest flow continuing as the western trough pivots to the Rockies. And then finally, as we go on Sunday, the main energy starts to lift northward, and that's when you're going to get a developing low that's probably going to start in northwest Texas and then wind its way up into Wisconsin and the western Great Lakes on Tuesday. And meanwhile, here in the east, we've got this ridge that's going to help to warm things up going into Saturday. Strong ridge along the east coast. It gets flattened out slightly with that weather front that's going to try to move southward. It's only going to be able to get so far south, but it could get far enough south that it won't have any residual problems after it passes. And then as we go into next week, we still have kind of ridging here through the middle part of next week. The flow becomes more westerly. You start to get troughs dropping, another trough that drops down from central Canada into New England later next week. So that might be Mr. Backdoor Cold Front, maybe. And, further along, then the ridge pops back up. But it's not very strong. It's just kind of on the flattish side. So, fluctuations in temperature, we're definitely going to see over the next week to 10 days, and then you see what happens here on Wednesday. You start to get energy that drops down into the Rockies with a low in Colorado, and there's the snow in Wyoming and southern Montana into Colorado. One wave goes out, but we're protected. And then here comes the front for Saturday. I put in the even though the European kind of weakens it, I put in the chance that there could be some showers or storms late Saturday afternoon or evening. Much of the day Saturday should be fine. And then with a low that's going from Texas on northward to the Western Links, Sunday should be okay. It's not going to be picture perfect, but it should be okay for Easter Sunday.
I I would agree. I would agree that Sunday will be okay. The people will be a little, disappointed though with Sunday, even though it'll be a probably a dry day and at least a partly to even mostly sunny day. the uh, the fact is, it's going to be so very warm the day before, and I'm sure a lot of people will be walking in the Easter parade on Sunday and saying, "Oh darn, why couldn't it be like yesterday in terms of temperature?" But beggars can't be choosers. You take what you get, and at least this year, Easter looks to be like a good weather day as opposed to years past where we have seen all kinds of crazy weather take place: cold, wind, even snow.
Yeah, the only fly in the ointment here is if the GFS is right, because the GFS brings the front through Saturday and stalls it right across New Jersey on. Actually, doesn't bring the front through on Saturday. It brings the front through on Sunday, Sunday afternoon, which is a day for. Usually, the European is the one that slows things down. Uh, the GFS it doesn't bring the front through till sometime uh, Sunday afternoon. Then it's got the low that the European takes up to the Western Lakes. The GFS wants to take it into Indiana and Ohio, which would mean that would probably be on the edge or get into some rain Monday into Tuesday. I kind of think, the GFS has been just way off lately on a lot of things. I think the more likely scenario is what the European has, which is, the front coming through on Saturday, the low coming out of Texas and Oklahoma and running up toward the lakes and not going into the Ohio Valley. I think that's just a bit of, I think the GFS is probably going to be off on that with the big ridge with the ridging in the east. And there will be some outbreaks of severe weather. Obviously, you can see what happens on Friday in Iowa, which is where they have the slight risk. I'm sorry, Thursday night into Friday, and then Friday into Saturday from southern Michigan down into north central Texas. You see how convective that the European's profile here looks, and then Saturday into Sunday back in Missouri, uh, down into Oklahoma, and then it really kind of blossoms out as that low develops. So that's where the severe weather is going to be. And as far as anything substantial rainfall wise, if you believe the European, you might have to wait till sometime other than Saturday. You may have to wait till next Thursday before we get another weather system coming into the east.
What does the Canadian say for Sunday?
Uh, I'll look. Hold on, and I'll check. Let's see. The Canadian Brandon Doherty, thank you for hitting super chat. Most appreciated. And he says he's going to call you Rayo from now on instead of Roe. Okay.
The librarian, and she didn't know. She gave a very very nice introduction into my talk, and she said Joe Rao, and I said, look, it's like the spaghetti sauce.
I was going to say, that's what you just say. It's like the sauce, for God's sake. Um, yeah, the Canadian, of course, it splits the difference. The Canadian brings the front through Sunday morning and stalls it out, and even has a little bit of light rain in southern Pennsylvania and southern New Jersey. And it takes the low to the central, like to eastern Michigan. So you have the Europeans somewhere like in northwest Wisconsin, the Canadian in eastern Michigan, the GFS in like northeast Ohio, which would bring back some rain later Monday into Tuesday. As I said, I think I'm going to go. I'm going to go European with this, and hold on to the idea that Sunday should be perfectly fine.
Let's do it then. Or as, or
Okay,
as Vincent or as Vincent Price would say, excellent.
it's exceptional. Yes, uh, or extraordinary.
Yes.
Um, okay,
I have
well,
Brother Jeopardy. I have Brother Jeopardy tonight, in case you're
I
wondering,
was
Evan.
going to say you can expound on that.
Yes, I will. And
What is the category tonight?
I'm going to go see. Hang on for a second. I must. I got to go through this convoluted method of getting this getting these questions now. And all right. Oh, Dennis Cassia, are you still on the line here? And you too, Joe. We're going to continue with the honeymooners.
Ah,
Umbrella Jeopardy.
All right.
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready. I'm always ready.
Okay. Question one. How much does Ed Norton weigh?
How much does Ed Norton weigh?
Yes.
One, I want to say either 130 or 160. I don't. I'm trying to visualize what episode that was. I'll say 150.
Well, let's see. Harold Olson, just a guess, says 160. Brady 111, 200, much too much. 175, Craig Carlberg, that also is too much. 150 for Lakeville, 191. I'm looking to see if anybody has it right on the nose.
130.
Northern Grace, Northern Grace a little closer at 155. Rich Mortmansky still closer at 156. Harold Olson 160 is closest so far.
So it's higher than 160.
Yes.
165.
There you go. Bell ring for Chiaffi.
I figured they
Voila.
use a round number, so either a zero or a five.
Yes. Okay, number two. How much does Ralph think he's going to get back on his tax refund?
30. Was it $37?
No, not quite that low.
Okay.
He wants to get it. He wants to get it. So this way, well, actually, Alice says if you don't get the amount that you're hoping for, just ask Fred for a smaller tent and a smaller snake.
Right.
Dennis Cassia has it. I thank you, Dennis.
For
$42.
$42.
I'm going to need all of it, Alice. All of it.
Right.
Number three. What does Ralph need the tax refund for? Well,
Well, you just
uh,
gave that away.
I just gave that away.
Fred's Landing. Right.
Sorry about that. All right, so we move on to number four. How much did Ed tell Ralph he made on his first day on the job as an iron salesman? And I will tell you right now, Scott, you're wrong. The number that
$40 a day.
exactly. Scott said 50. I don't know where you got 50 from, but it was 40.
$40 a day. $40 a day.
Yeah, but $40 a day.
Right. $40 a day.
Finally, oh yeah, oh he did have a correction. Correction number four is $40. That's right after.
Right.
Number five, last one. Who does Ralph say is the coworker who makes jokes of his weight?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Maggie P, you've never watched ever? Oh, you gotta binge watch it.
Harold
Um,
Olson, no, not Freddie Muller.
Not Freddie Muller.
As a Lakeville 191, Sammy the Bull.
Yeah. Um, Gee, I honestly I don't know.
All right, quite frankly, I don't think I would have known either. Joe Lustig,
Joe
and I don't remember.
Lustig. Who's Joe
I
Lustig?
I don't know. Now I remember Harold Olson said Joe Finsterblau, but that was the guy who had the bet with him about Alice cooking dinner for him.
Oh, right,
But
yes.
yeah, but
How
no,
much does
that's
Ralph make a week?
$62, right?
$62 a week. $62 a week. I don't want my salary to leak out. Your salary couldn't
Salary
drip
couldn't
out.
drip out.
$62 a week in the mid 50s was not a small sum.
No, it wasn't.
It was actually pretty average. That's the
No,
one thing when I see people when they put up these memes about how much things cost in the 1950s, like a new house cost $7,000 and a new car cost like $2,000 or something. They never ever put down the fact that the average yearly salary, uh, was probably under $10,000 a year for most people. So, they put up everything thinking that you're making the kind of dollar, the nominal dollar amount that you're making now with the prices back in the 1950s. You would have been on Easy Street, okay? But it's not the
Remember,
same dollar.
remember that I Love Lucy episode where Ricky is talking about the house that they just bought in Westport? What was it? Was like
Yes,
25,000 was the 25,000 was the
I think
amount?
25,000. Yeah,
I'd love to have a house at
can you
$25,000.
imagine?
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Scott Briller, thank you. More honeymooners tomorrow. Thank you for hitting super chat, and thank you for these questions. Um, yeah, it's you got to put things into
How,
context.
what was this the limerick that Bill Davis wrote in Ralph's autograph book? And that episode
Oh,
was on just the other night on MeTV.
I kind of I can see the scene, but I can't. I don't remember the limerick.
You were so mad when I wrote that in your book, Ralph. Now we could just laugh about it. What a limerick. Some kids are tall, some kids are small. Fatso Crandon walks down the school halls, wall to wall.
Yeah. Oh Lord. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go back and binge watch. Uh,
Yep.
I started binge watching Alfred Hitchcock Presents, so um, I've only got to I watched the first 4 episodes of season one. I have a long way to go since that series was on for many, many years.
I'll have my favorite episode of Hitchcock is
What, the one with the leg of lamb?
Lambs to the Slaughter.
Lambs to the slaughter, yeah. That is actually quite a clever, you know, quite a clever episode.
Yep. Yep. All
And
right. Well,
I guess we
anyway,
pretty well covered it. The weather's kind of quiet overall. I mean, no any big storms around, no big severe weather outbreaks around. So I guess we can call it a night. So everybody, I hope you had a great day, and we'll see you back tomorrow night at 7:35 p.m.
and don't
Righto?
remind everybody about your trip to Florida. You'll be
Right.
out
So
for.
this is a reminder, as I said on the beginning. So no show Easter Sunday. Normal week next week, but the last week of April, I'm going to Florida for a week. So uh, the show's going to take a 1 week hiatus from April 26th to May 4th, I think it is. So just a heads up. It's like know that no one's night is complete unless you finish it off watching the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast.
Yes,
And
sir.
we definitely appreciate that, by the way.
Absolutely.
So, all right. Well, we'll see everybody tomorrow night. Night, night.
Good night, folks.